Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, Viva Fry, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler, quite clearly not in Florida. If you haven't seen this video, you're going to watch it immediately after watching this vlog summary. It's an investigative report by a YouTuber, and I'm using that term because he uses that term in the video almost to say, I'm just some dude with a camera on the internet exposing massive, sprawling fraud in a way that no government official has done, no law enforcement has done.
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Nick Shirley has gone on the road with a man named Dave, breaking down the Minnesota Somali welfare child care fraud in a way that no one's ever done before. And it's an amazing thing. It goes to show you the power of a camera, a microphone, and two legs, two eyes, and a mouth. He goes out and goes daycare to daycare in the Minnesota region, going to these Somali daycares, which are registered for having 90, 100, sometimes more kids at their daycare, and they have none. These are daycares that have been taking millions of dollars annually in state, federal subsidies and don't have any kids at their daycare. And Nick Shirley goes door to door, knocking on the doors, saying, hey, what's going on here?
This place is called Future Leaders Early Learning Center, and it's licensed for 90 children. And in fiscal year 2025, they received $3.6 million. In fiscal year 2024, they received $3 million. So in 2 years, they got $6.67 million, claiming they have 90 children every day of the week, 5 days a week.
I mean,
So let's
these
find
people
out.
are making just about more money than NBA athletes.
And we don't even know if they're paying taxes, but we don't know where this money is going. Is it going to terrorism? Where is it going? But it's theft, it's fraud. And the reason I'm involved is I want it to stop. I care about Minnesota. I'm doing this for the people of Minnesota. I don't make a dime off all this time I've spent on this. I put my life at risk several times, but I'm determined to see this through and to correct what is wrong, what is evil.
He exposes in a video that has now gone super viral. I think it's got like 175,000 reposts on X. A 42-minute expose. It's gone super viral to the point where it's gotten basically the attention of everybody, even PATEL from the FBI, who posted earlier today to the effect that you've all now seen this viral video, but rest assured, before this video went viral, the FBI was involved in prosecuting the fraud, prosecuting individuals, and then they list a number of people who've been sentenced. I'll get back to that in a second. To summarize what Nick Shirley did in this video, it is absolutely amazing. It's what journalism used to be. Knocking on doors, asking obvious questions, and just trying to get the truth out there. He goes door to door to some places which are in strip malls, which people in the area say they've never seen a kid go to this place in the first place. And he's asking and getting chased out of one location after another, being shut down in one location after another, exposing this sprawling fraud within the Minnesota Somali community, highlighting the fact that it's a pretty closed community. Nobody wants to rat anybody out, and that's assuming that those who are not ratting other people out are not involved in the fraud themselves. They've now estimated this fraud to be $9, $10, $11 billion, maybe even more. And the fraud consists of taking state and federal funds for daycares that never operate, for healthcare services that never actually provide the services, that they have people sign up for future services, they get the state federal credits, and they never render the services.
Hello, how are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork or can I check out the daycare? No? Why can't I check? Joey's still looking for daycare.
It's of an amount that actually matches, if not exceeds, the GDP of the country of Somalia. And now Nick Shirley has gone out and exposed it in a way that nobody else has. There was one moment of this video where there is, channeling Malcolm X right now, a white woman who is in the parking lot of a daycare, an alleged daycare. She's got her camera up. Like the modern day thinking man pose is no longer this. It's someone holding a camera like this. And this woman is holding a camera saying, you don't belong here. She doesn't know who he is. Don't open up. It's ICE.
Don't open up.
They said, they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up.
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up.
And you've got presumably a local Minnesotan. The fact that she's a white woman only plays into stereotypes, but is sort of irrelevant to the rest of the story. You've got a local Minnesotan who is protecting fraud against herself.
There's a guy who posts on X who's great, Godsad, and he talks about basically suicidal empathy. Mm-hmm. Like if there's so much empathy that you actually suicide yourself.
Yeah. Also, don't let someone use your empathy against you so they can completely control your state and then do an insanely bad job of managing it and never get removed.
They're exploiting a bug in Western civilization, which is the empathy response. I think empathy is good.
Right. Understand when empathy has been actually used as a tool.
Suicidal empathy. You have a woman who is actively protecting the people who are perpetrating perhaps the broadest, most sprawling, wide-scale fraud against tax-paying American citizens in the history of the country. And she feels virtuous, self-righteous to say, don't open up. It's ICE, even if it's not ICE. And by the way, the irony, and I'm channeling Malcolm X right now, because the fact that she is a white woman, presumably a liberal, that she assumes that everyone in there is illegal and would be afraid of ICE. This is the soft bigotry of low expectations, or otherwise just known as bigotry, racism. A white liberal woman just assumes that everyone in the Somali community in Minnesota is illegal and would be scared of ICE. But she's protecting them. She's protecting them based on her own prejudged stereotypes of what she thinks of the Somalian community, that they're illegal aliens. Protecting the fraud against herself. Now, after this video went viral and it got the attention of pretty much everyone on earth because it's such an in-your-face, we are stealing from tax-paying Americans, KASH PATEL put out a tweet and said, yep, we've been aware of this ever since, even before this video went viral, and we've prosecuted, yada, yada, yada. We've been going after it, and the fine men and women in law enforcement have been well aware of this for quite some time, and our FBI is taking care of it. Now, the only problem that people are rightly pointing out with KASH PATEL's tweet is that any investigation or the investigations into this actually predate KASH PATEL's tenure as director of the FBI. It actually goes back to 2022, give or take 2021. But what it highlights is actually even more of the problem, that this was not known to the public. This had not yet reached the level of public notoriety that it absolutely deserves. Public national and international notoriety under the prior Biden corrupt FBI DOJ. Why not? What KASH PATEL inadvertently either acknowledged, admitted, tacitly recognized is that there had been some investigations into this, swept under the rug, quiet as a bird, dating back to 2021, 2022, and the Biden corrupt DOJ had actually participated in covering up this massive fraud for the man who was responsible for it, which is Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who was running for vice president of these United States of America with Kamala Harris. What KASH PATEL has basically highlighted right now is that the prior corrupt DOJ FBI dealt with it in as much as absolutely necessary, quiet as a mouse, to protect the man who was running for vice president, who was the governor of the state at the helm of which all of this fraud took place. Now, understand that, and you'll understand the extent, the scope, and the breadth of this fraud.
However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that someone matching your description were in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers that everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So
He's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just
You guys
checking.
know, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from now multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here. At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Who's been profiting from it? It's not only Somali fraud in Minnesota. You can get the same federal fraud in California. What you have right now is the consequence of a government that is accountable to nobody, that it doesn't even bother to do the basic checks on the money that it steals from tax-paying citizens and then hands out to make itself seem virtuous. People are now going back to Kamala Harris tweets from the era saying, we're going to expand Medicaid, Medicare. Oh yeah, Medicaid, Medicare for all, as if lack of funding is the issue. You know, there's a funny meme that says, if the government can just print money, why do they need to tax us in the first place? The reality is that they don't need to tax you to generate revenue. They need to tax you to audit your entire private life, to know everything that you're doing, to know everything about you, and to get you to self-declare and self-confess to the government so that it knows all of the intricacies of your life, private and public. So the reality is that taxing is not really necessary for the government to generate the revenues that it needs. It's not unable to provide the services that it wants to provide because of lack of revenue. But when they just steal from citizens, squander the money with no checks or balances, no oversight, no audit, no nothing. They don't care if they're writing out checks to daycares that don't exist. They don't care if they're writing out checks to daycares that have multiple violations. And by the way, I'll call it right now. I'm too late to call the PATEL trying to claim credit for this, when in fact it predates PATEL's tenure as director of the FBI, but in fact reveals greater corruption of the FBI, DOJ under the corrupt Biden regime. I'm going to call this right now. You're going to start seeing fact checks of Nick Shirley. And some fact checks are going to say Nick Shirley went to this daycare here, and they were actually just closed for the holidays. He went to this one here. This one couldn't have any kids in its daycare because of some whatever oversight fines for non-compliance that it got in the past. They're going to go to try now and discredit Nick Shirley's journalism by nitpicking at certain small mistakes that he might very well have made in his 42-minute expose, so that they can then say, well, we write it all off. We throw out the baby with the bathwater because Nick Shirley made a little mistake here, he made a little mistake there, therefore we can discredit everything that he's done. The reality is, this is what happens when the government steals your money, squanders it, virtue signaling while it does it, and has no accountability for the efficiency for which it squanders your tax-paying dollars. Ro Khanna has been on Twitter for the last little while, raging against, I forget who it is, what his name is, a billionaire that says, if Ro Khanna proceeds with his 5% billionaire tax increase in California, I'm leaving the state, period. To which Ro Khanna said, I'm channeling Madison, who says, I will miss you. Sarcastic, like, all right, good riddance to bad rubbish. From what I understand, Ro Khanna misunderstood. It wasn't about an American going from one poorly run communist state to another free state. It was about an American threatening to leave the Union, to go to another country. And to them, he said, I wish you luck. No one's going to miss you. What can happen and what will happen in these United States of America, where you have your individual state science experiments to see which state works and which one doesn't? This was the Union that was supposed to be a bunch of states operating not under federal control. What can and will happen, and Ro Khanna and California, Governor Newsom is discovering this as we speak, people will vote with their feet. They will vote with their dollar. They will vote with their skill and their talent, and they will leave that state. Not going to leave the country. They'll leave that state, take their wealth with them, and they'll go to Texas. They'll go to Florida. They'll go to Tennessee. They will go to states where, at the very least, the theft and the squandering is somewhat less. But this is what happens when a government thinks it's entitled to your money, takes it out of your back pocket, and doesn't matter and doesn't care what it does with your money. No accountability, no oversight, and no consequences. Because what happens when a government fails at this monumental level? They're going to say, we need more power. Oh my goodness, we need to create a government regulatory commission. We need to create an oversight committee to investigate our failings. So we got to make government bigger to find out why this massive blob of a government screwed up and squandered 10 billion of your tax-paying dollars. And none of this would have reached the mainstream had it not been for some YouTuber, in quotes, because I think there are immense powers that come with having a microphone, having a voice, and having a little bit of integrity. Nick Shirley is now reaping in the benefits of what it means to be an honest journalist, and that is people sharing the information because they're dying for that information. Right now, you have it reaching the political mainstream in a way that is going to make people outraged, as they should be, and there should be political consequences, political hell to pay. Not the FBI now saying, yeah, we've been taking care of it here and there, and we got a few guys arrested and sentenced and whatever. We were doing this before it went mainstream, and trust us, we're doing a good job. What you had was the former FBI covering it up for the benefit of the man who was running to be vice president of these United States of America. And had he succeeded, by the way, Much like had Hillary Clinton succeeded in 2016, we would never have known about any of this. So that's what is going on. Enjoy this clip that I sort of spliced together. It's kind of catchy. Once you hear the woman saying, "Don't open up, you don't open up," you'll never be able to unhear the music song to it. Go check out Nick Shirley's video. 42 minutes of absolute, pure, bona fide, quality journalism, and it doesn't take much. It just takes a little bit of honesty, a good microphone, a good camera, and a lot of elbow grease, gumption, courage, cojones, to do what Nick and Dave in his video did. Go check it out. With that said, Happy New Year. I will speak to you before New Year's, but Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas.
Santa's coming to town! Santa! Oh my God! I know him!
It's beautiful, but I can't wait to go back to Florida. With that said, everyone, peace out. Booyah.
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open up!
They said they spelt learning wrong.
Here. Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know?
Don't open up!
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up.
Don't open up! We have ice!
Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know?
Don't open up! Go away! You're not welcome here!
Are you-
Shame on you! Don't open up!
Ma'am, you know, not ice.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.